This meeting of the Historic District Commission will take place in a webinar format through Zoom. The chair of the commission is Sarah Moriarty. The host of the webinar is the building officials. Staff attending this meeting include Peter Zavinglis and Linda Galetta. Anyone speaking should state their names prior to speaking each time. The panelists in this webinar meeting will be the commission members and the building staff. Panelists who would like to comment on an item should indicate such by using the icon to raise hand at the bottom of the screen. After a panelist raises their hand, they will be able to comment one at a time when called upon by the chairperson. Panelists should mute their microphones until called upon. Panelists calling into a meeting by telephone may raise or lower their hand by pressing *9. To mute or unmute your call, press *6. To make a motion or second a motion, commission members can raise a hand and be acknowledged by the host or chair. To vote on a motion, commission members will be called upon individually by the chair to vote. The public can participate in the meeting during the public communications agenda item. The public will be asked to raise their hand during public communications if they want to speak at this time by using the icon to raise hand at the bottom of the screen. The public will be called upon by the host one at a time and will be able to speak during this time. Attendees must identify themselves before speaking. It is all yours.
All right, so I will call the meeting to order on May 4th at 7:04. And Todd, if you can read the call.
Dear Matt, please publish the following public notice for one insertion on Monday, April 26, 2021. Town of Groton notice of public hearing, Historic District Commission. The Historic District Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, May 4th, 2021 at 7 p.m. virtually via the Zoom platform to hear the following applications requesting a certificate of appropriateness. HDC 21-18, 368 High Street, Dawn and Paul Miller, owners, applicants, demolish shed and install new shed, PIN number 261914332362. HDC 21-19, 3 Elm Street, Patrick Nolan, owner, Amy Plourde, applicant, remove and replace fence, PIN number 261918206394. HDC 21-24 Latham Street, Eva Marie Hildebrand, owner, William Biden, applicant, install shed, PIN number 2618063928853. A Zoom meeting link will be posted to the town's website meetings calendar or can be attended by visiting www.zoom.us. Webinar ID 890-146-04230, password 172525. Or by phone 1312-626-6799. Applications are on file and available for public inspection during normal business hours at the Planning Department, 134 Groton Long Point Road, Groton, Connecticut. Dated this 26th day of April, 2021 at Groton, Connecticut. Todd Brady, Secretary.
Thank you, Todd. So I will call HDC 21-15 to Prospect Street, Stephen Casella, owner, applicant, exterior renovations and deck. We have him. I was kind of looking through. So he was continued from previously. Linda, did you have any correspondence?
We did receive a couple of pictures that I posted.
Did they indicate that they were going to attend tonight?
Oh, yes. The architect I see is in the audience. I think it's Wayne.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Wayne.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. So you are all set to make your presentation.
Okay. Well, I think everybody is familiar with the scope of the project in terms of the renovation of the existing carriage house / barn and the addition of the deck. As I mentioned at our last meeting, we had prepared for a preliminary review, not a final review. But since then, we have submitted all of the required information to Tom. In fact, it was submitted last Tuesday morning. And that included the GIS map, okay, which you should have. It included an updated site plan for the project, which I will review with you, and a list of manufacturers and materials for the project. And Steve Casella submitted the photos to you.
If I could just interrupt for a second. Wayne.
Yes.
Eric, just so you know, what actually happened was we had a public hearing on this 2 weeks ago, even though
Right.
I think Wayne said he wasn't aware it was going to be, that he ended up applying for a public hearing. So if you want him to sort of quickly go through the things he went through before, technically it's already been heard. I don't know how you feel about that one way or the other, but.
I looked it over. I'm fine with it.
Okay, so go ahead, Wayne, sorry.
Okay, so I introduced a new site plan. Actually, what's on the screen now was the preliminary site plan indicating the deck and the stair. But I think if you scroll down slightly, you'll hopefully see the new site plan in the other direction. Nope. It's below these drawings here. A little bit further. Yeah, I don't know if you can you do screen share, or do you want me, or if you just scroll down a little bit further, you'll come to it. Just past the photos, I think. I saw it in your first scroll.
I was at the top and that was at the
Oh,
beginning.
that was at the top? Okay.
Yeah.
Get to be my age, I guess you get up and down confused sometimes.
Is this what you're talking about?
No, it's a drawing that I did, actually. I saw it. It was there at one time. There, no. It's okay.
You got a zoning location plot plan right here.
Yeah, well, I'll describe it to you. This is a good plan. I'll try to describe it best I can, but I submitted quite extensive materials to Tom last Tuesday. I'll try to work from this, but and describe it to you. But if we had the plan, I'm going to hold up the plan. Maybe you can see it from my my view here. There you go. Can everyone see that plan? Is that plan visible? Hello?
Not, well, sort of. So
Okay, how's that?
Peter, there was nothing more below where you stopped scrolling?
How's that?
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, even though the writing's been reversed because of the camera, I guess, you can see that the site plan that we presented last time indicating the location of the building and the deck, and that we're removing the stair along the rear property line there. But what we are proposing is to create a separate driveway for the units in this barn. And to the right, from what you're looking at, it's really to the left, technically. There is actually a 4-foot high stone wall, and it's quite beautiful, actually. And our concept is to provide a driveway along that 4-foot stone wall. And if you can see, if one were driving in at night, any headlights would be pointed toward the right of the deck there, or technically to the left of the deck, and that it wouldn't shine into any of the apartments. And then when parked, the cars are screened from the existing house, actually along the entire length of the driveway and the parking area. So we've provided parking there for 2 cars, really one for each unit, and as well as the screening and the driveway. And it's the driveway itself is screened from the adjacent neighbor by the 4-foot-high stone wall.
Wayne, if I may,
Yes.
just so I'm clear, what you presented 2 weeks ago and were continued on is different than what you're presenting tonight. You're now presenting exterior renovations and a driveway. Is that correct?
Well, I am presenting a driveway, yes, but what we presented 2 weeks ago, as I described, was what I thought was a preliminary meeting, and this is now the final review, or the beginning of the final review. So we were asked to provide a site plan after that meeting, when I spoke with Tom as to what would be the items required for this presentation.
Right. So I guess what my concern is although it may have been a miscommunication, the meeting 2 weeks ago was in fact a public hearing. And what we have as an application for your public hearing is exterior renovations and deck. So
Okay.
when we were looking at your application then, those were the only things that we were looking at. So now in this hearing, which I understand there was a miscommunication, you thought it was a prelim. Now this is your continuance. We have a change in that we have exterior renovations deck and a driveway, of which I'm not saying I'm opposed to in any way. I'm just concerned about notice requirements.
I agree with you 100%. So why don't we do this? Let's review what we had presented at the initial meeting.
Okay,
Ignore the driveway for this evening and put that aside and submit a separate application for the driveway at a later date.
I think that's probably the
So
best.
this way the public can be adequately notified and they can review, even though this has been in line the last 10 days, they can review this proposal for the driveway and have their opportunity to comment.
Perfect. So if you
Yeah.
could just take us, because there were some commission members that weren't here, just take us right back through the application as it's here and what your exterior renovations were and deck are, then I think that we can move forward.
Okay. Apparently, this structure is grandfathered by the municipality because at one time it was 2 separate apartment units built within the existing barn. The barn structure itself, while not quite original or historic in some respects, was built in the late 19th century. There's no history as to why it was built or for whom it was built, but it exists. It happens to be a fairly nice building, but lacking in some original details, certainly on the interior of all places, but probably because of the 2 units that existed there. And the exterior has been modified in terms of its fenestration, doorways, and in some details. But there are some nice gable end details to the existing building, and the basic form still exists. And we're not proposing to modify the basic form at all. What we are proposing is to create 2 apartments, one on the first floor, one on the second floor, and be consistent in materials on the exterior in terms of being sensitive to the Mystic Groton location. So at the last meeting, that was about the point we got to in terms of the presentation, but we wanted to supplement at this meeting a couple of the other requirements, such as the GIS map and what the materials would be for the project. So.
Well, I think also, I don't believe there were photographs of that building.
In photographs, correct.
Okay.
You're correct, yes. Sorry. Well, beginning with the siding of the building, the existing siding is actually not in particularly good condition. Neither are the windows or the doors. But the basic structure, as I mentioned at the last meeting, is in more than adequate condition. The owner has proposed to replace the roof shingles, and we submitted samples of all these materials. Not sure where they are in the overall file here, but everything that I'm about to list that was submitted, actually in color. And we're proposing an architectural shingle for the roof, and it would be charcoal in color. The siding would be hardy plank, board and batten siding. The color of that siding would be classic burgundy, if you can envision that. I'll hold up the little sample of it looks black, I'm sorry, from where you are, but it's called classic burgundy. The windows would be manufactured by a company known as Harvey. They would be 6/6 divided light. They would be simulated divided light so that they would have a shadow to the mutton bars, and they would be white. The trim for the building would be AZAC trim. That would be for casings and any other trim. That would be painted a color. These are Benjamin Moore colors, by the way, called, of all things, Mystic Beige.
We have no jurisdiction over color, Wayne.
Okay, well, just so you can envision this, the railing would be the AZAC Premier Series, and the decking would be AZAC decking. Those are the materials that would be on this project.
And Wayne, you said you submitted all of these materials and descriptive information about them?
Absolutely. Yes, I did.
But Peter, they do not appear to be attached to this. Is that correct?
That's what I'm looking. I see the pictures
Yeah.
submitted.
No, I can go back to, well, it was an email from last Tuesday morning. Quite extensive. There were at least 8 or 9 attachments to the email. They were sent to Tom. I can.
This is what we have submitted right now.
Not that it'll
Which
change.
was submitted and was sent to everybody on Friday, explaining to take a look at it, and if there's anything that's missing, to contact Tom to square away if there was missing. So this was available to everybody at this meeting on Friday and was sent out to everyone who's on this call.
Yeah.
Everything that is specifically in this packet.
I can. I have the email in front of me now. It was actually sent on April 27th. at 10.
Yeah, but the problem is this is what was submitted, and this is what was in the packet that was submitted on Friday, and this is what was sent out to all applicants to review to make sure everything was there.
Well, what should have I have done that I didn't do? Isn't it?
I guess on Friday, when the email went out, just verify that everything was in the package.
I didn't receive an email on Friday.
You should have, or the applicant should have.
Neither of us received an email on Friday. I received an email.
I can verify that with staff.
Yeah. Well, I know I did.
That's a separate problem from what we're doing tonight.
Well, I don't know how you wish to handle it. You'll have to give me some guidance because, like I said, this is my email. Oops. Well, you can't see it, but it's there. These are all the attachments. Sorry, you can't see it, but it's there. The fact that I am confused that Tom didn't post them is, I'm not sure how to address that. I mean, if you want, I guess we can continue this meeting to the next meeting.
So,
Maybe if everybody sent me their emails, I would send you the complete package, so you know you would have them.
Well, I know this was a continuation from the last meeting, and there was some confusion on the last one where we did have the submittal, and it wasn't what you claimed you submitted last time either, completely.
That's true. Last time we did submit photographs and they weren't posted.
Right, which he did not receive until that morning of.
Right, right.
right, so things have to be submitted in a certain timeline so that it can get posted for the public to see. And it appears that whatever was submitted didn't get posted, which means the public didn't.
Well, I personally spoke with Tom after the next morning after our last meeting. And I asked him, Tom, what is the deadline? Because you didn't give me a deadline. You weren't sure what the deadline was.
Right,
Yes, I spoke to him the next morning and I asked him what the deadline was. And he said, I need to receive all the materials by Tuesday, April 27th.
mhm.
That was the deadline given to me. And in all due respect, I've been an architect a long time, and I've probably appeared at hundreds and hundreds of zoning, historic district, and city plan commission meetings, inland wetlands. Once a municipal staff member gives me a deadline, I've never missed a deadline. And he gave me the deadline of April 27th. I submitted it Tuesday morning. I think it was Tuesday, April 27th. It was Monday, then I did it on Monday. But it was done on April 27th of 10 of 10. So I satisfied the deadline as far as I knew from Tom. If there was a different deadline, then I would have satisfied it. In fact, I worked all day Sunday on accumulating all these materials so it could get to him by Tuesday. There seems to be some disconnect here. I'm not blaming anyone, but all we're trying to do is start this project in a timely manner. And if you wish, I have no problem coming back to your next meeting. Maybe the materials will be uploaded by then.
So
Well, the thing is that the obligation is on the applicant to make sure that what they submitted to staff is actually in the file that's submitted to the commissioners for our review for the commission meeting.
I understand, Mr. Levinson. I did not receive a notice that I was responsible for verifying that. So I apologize. If that's our charge, then that's what we'll have to do. We'll have to speak with Tom and ask him when all the materials will be uploaded that we've submitted, and then I will verify. I have no problem verifying that the appropriate materials are in place. I feel bad that we've wasted, in some respects, 2 meetings here. Not so much my time, but your time.
Well, I feel bad because we're supposed to be helping people in our town expedite things. So I think
Right?
whatever happened here, it probably shouldn't be discussed tonight. It should be a thorough review of the process and we should make it more streamlined.
Yeah, I mean, if it was on the application to say verify submission, 4 days in advance of meeting, I don't think we would have missed that.
Maybe when somebody like an architect submits for the owner, I don't know if it's protocol that we send to the architect the reply for the meeting, the minutes and the owner, but maybe we should consider that, whoever.
I know
I don't know what happened. I think we should
I know
find
you
out.
said that the notice to verify on Friday is sent to the applicant. Well, I'm the applicant on the application. All Mr. Casella has is the signature as owner, but I am the applicant in the corner here. And I can assure you, I receive a fair number of emails like everybody else, but I have a policy in my office. No email, phone call, or text goes unanswered that same business day. I take care of things in a very direct and responsible manner. I call everybody back, I email everybody back if it's the last thing I do for the day.
So this is what my suggestion is to try to move this forward, is communicate with Tom, which I'm not saying you didn't, but communicate with Tom to make sure that all of your proper materials are uploaded. And in the meantime, get an application to Tom for the driveway so that at the next hearing, you can have both hearings and have them both done at the same time. So that you don't have to come back
I
again.
mean,
If
in
I
all due,
just,
again,
if
in
I
all
could
due
just-
respect, this is, the first time we told your staff that we were going to have a preliminary review, and we ended up having a hearing, and then I spoke and received a list of submission items as well as the timing, and something's
What
not
was-
right here. But I'm flexible, so.
Linda,
What was Linda gonna say?
if I can just, if I just want to let you know that what I have, I'm Linda, and I assist Tom in putting together the packages. And the application that I have, which I think if Pete scrolls down to the application, you're not listed. The only way that I know who you are is from the previous meeting when you explained the application and explained your participation in it, but
That's not what's sent to you. That's the wrong. This is what was sent to you. I sent it to you.
so what I'm trying to say to you is that there is a disconnect because this is the only application that we have. And so I did reach out to Mr. Casella, and we can talk about the whole process at a different time, but I just want you to understand that the only thing we have in the file and the only thing that's been uploaded is this application that shows Mr. Casella.
But that's
And that
not,
was-
I don't think we should belabor the point, but that's
No,
strange
me
because
neither.
on
I'm just
March
saying,
31st,
Why you haven't heard from us. That's all.
yeah, on March 31st, I submitted this application. I've spoken to Tom multiple times about if there are any fees. He said no. What are the submission items? What is the process? I have both emailed him and I've verbally spoken with him on the phone. So I'm not frustrated, don't get me wrong. If anything, perhaps you're frustrated because there are some very nice people waiting to come after us, and we're talking about this a long time. I just think that from my experience, then we should, I don't know how you want to word it, but I was going to say we should withdraw this application and reapply with the driveway.
that's probably a very good idea.
Sarah,
Yes.
may I make a suggestion?
Sure, yeah.
And it wouldn't involve you, Wayne. I think that this commission should have a meeting with the staff at a separate time, not the public.
We're working on that, Bonnie, and we can
Okay.
talk about that later.
Okay,
Yeah. If one of, I don't have your email, Linda, but if you want to send it to me, I'll happy to send copy all the materials to you as well that we've submitted to Tom so that there's a backup.
So-
I appreciate that. Tom and I do work closely on these and he's the lead planner. So we'll get it figured out, but I just
Okay,
wanted to weigh in on what the application said.
all right, well.
I think Sarah-
Few questions then. When is your next meeting and when is the next deadline? Not that I can't send all this tomorrow, but probably Thursday.
So the next meeting is the third Tuesday of the month. My calendar is not up. I believe, based on my conversation earlier with Peter, that you need to have your materials submitted by tomorrow to be on the next agenda.
18th.
May 18th?
Peter, am
Okay.
I correct in saying tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow is the 5th,
Wednesday. Yes.
right? Don't you need it 10 days in advance or 14 days in advance?
So the way that we've been trying to navigate it is to have the materials submitted the Wednesday. And then if there's any missing materials, you'll be notified on Friday so that notice can go out in the paper the following week.
I see.
Peter, correct me if I'm wrong, please. I don't see Peter anymore.
Yeah, where is he?
Um,
Well, we're gonna have to hope I'm right.
I apologize. I have, but.
Linda
meeting
should
is
know.
tomorrow. I am, as like most people, I have a very full calendar and schedule these days. I will try to get this in tomorrow, but I have many a meeting already scheduled tomorrow, but I will do my best. If someone, no, I guess I'll just send it to Tom, I guess.
Yeah, well, may I say something? Wayne, if in fact you submitted this information, as you said, a week or so ago, then what I would recommend what you do is you find your email, what you submitted it, and then just re-forward the exact email, because it will show us one, when you first submitted it, and then with all the attachments, we should have it. If your original application, you showed a separate application that showed you as I guess the applicant or whatever, and if you have that, you should obviously submit that again too, because apparently we don't seem to have that.
I'll have to, but to be fair to you, I will have to redo the narrative slightly, because so that it includes the driveway. So
Great.
I will redo the narrative.
But I agree with Todd. Please send us what you thought you submitted so we can look at it for the process.
I will. I'll send you all the materials I sent March 31st as well as April 27th.
Right, and as I said, I would re-forward what you sent, so we will see your original email date and time.
Right.
If it's just as Bonnie said, so we can take a little closer look at exactly what, and try to figure out what happened. Maybe it was misaddressed, who knows?
Okay.
Did this
I
meeting
wish I
keep
could
going?
say that normally I work on a time basis, but Steve is a good friend of mine, so I've been just assisting him on this. So just so you, I'm not complaining, but I don't make any more money, more or less, attending these hearings. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Right. Well, neither do we, so.
No, I know
Yeah.
that.
Negative money.
I know. Believe me, I've been a volunteer all my life, so I know what's involved. So, but thank you, and I guess we'll see you on the 18th.
Thank you, Wayne.
Okay, thanks. Have a good evening.
I just got back. I lost internet connection. Did the meeting keep going on? I
You
got lost?
voted, you're the chairman now, Peter. Good luck.
All right.
All right. So Peter, I don't know where you left off. Wayne concluded that it was probably best for him to withdraw his existing application and submit a whole new one. I gave him the deadline of tomorrow to submit it, to get on the agenda for the next meeting for a whole new application. So hopefully that will go smoothly for him. So I guess next I will call.
I'm in the Zoom meeting.
Where am I?
Could I just say one thing about that? If it really was a mistake on the town's part, I personally think it would be nice of us if he could have an extension to Friday, as long as it's in time for the public notice. If that's possible.
Okay.
I'm more concerned with this. It should have gone to this email address. This is where I left off. It should have gone to that email address right there as the responder.
And I think.
So
Linda
I think
said
you
it did.
may have fallen off, Peter, a little bit when Linda was clarifying that, but we can talk about that after the public hearing.
Okay.
So the next
Yeah.
agenda item, I believe, is HDC 21-1717 Gravel Street. Is that where I am now?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Dan Grace. Or Chris, is Chris Burnett here? I don't see Dan or Chris. Oh, there's Dan. Dan, you're on mute.
Sorry, I was just speaking to myself apparently. Chris is not here. I actually was with him today. I figured this was, as straightforward versus the sort of pre-application, pre-hearing or whatever we did back in January. I just want to apologize here for a couple of weeks ago when I couldn't make it. I was in the process of actually a sale of my company, which was a big deal, and we had like this big emergency meeting, and I completely forgot about it. So my apologies with respect to that, but here we are again. So we can just, I guess, just if one of you, I don't really know the process here, sort of scrolls through I sent a PowerPoint or some images explaining what I'm trying to do is, there's a longer term plan that we're trying to put together over the next year or two, or however long it's going to take. Short term though, for the family, just trying to do some cleanup and get it habitable. We've had the furnace people and this and that, everything's getting done. So on this page is all the things that are obviously visible from the street as a first step, and just to do some cleanup on the outside. And I just put them all together. I don't know honestly the exact timeline, but I just sort of put them together to get everything approved, hopefully in one shot. And then I'll sort of take it from there. So I think there are 4 or 5 things on the list here. The first is, it's this, if you sort of scroll to the top, there's that canopy addition that was put on, that's sort of half falling off, rotting at the top, et cetera, et cetera. And then if you see the page 2, I have it as sort of a before and after, what I'm proposing in my Photoshop skills. So that's that piece of it. The next page, I believe, is it's sort of a collapsing rear, sort of a shed roof type of thing. That was some new addition at some point as well. The fiberglass, whatever it is on top, is all ripping off, and it's kind of a shoddy from the outside. From the back, from Pearl Street is where that's visible from. The next page, I believe, is the back of the
Garage overhang.
Yeah, the garage overhang. Yep, that's the next one. Also visible from the same side from Pearl Street. The next, I believe, are some shutters, and there seems to be not really a pattern here, but they're all sort of falling down too. In the rear of the house, they're on the top, but not the bottom. And on the side of the house, they're on the bottom, but not the top, and only on some of them. So that's that. And there are a couple that aren't shown here. There's one side or something up on like the gable side of it that I didn't get in the picture, but would go along with this. So I'm just trying to clean this up, get those off, have it a box with nice clean windows, at least from the outside. Again, I don't want to use the word temporary, but just to sort of start my way into cleaning it up. And then the last one is the demolition of, demolition is a strong word, but removal of an old fence. There's the short white picket fence. All the way to the left of that picture is the neighbor's property. You can even see it's whiter. And it takes a 90-degree turn back toward their garage. And though from there back starts the old picket fence from the Gravel Street property that I just want to, drive to the dump, basically. I'm having a bunch of landscaping taken out and some other things too, but that's the actual structure. So those elements are sort of a first pass for me to try to clean up the place temporarily.
So Dan, if I can just summarize really quick. So
Sure.
the front door canopy you're looking to remove, then
Yes.
the back door, the rear patio overhang you're also looking to remove, and then removal of
Yeah, everything here is removable.
everything's removal.
Yeah.
Nothing's in addition.
No.
Okay.
I'm slowly removing all the additions.
Got it. Just making sure all these things are being removed, nothing's being added.
Right.
I have no other questions. Does anybody else? Anybody?
Dan, you're the owner of the house?
Yeah, that was confusing. I think, I don't know if it's because the records weren't, because we just closed maybe a month or so ago. And yes, I'm the owner. The Martin family is who I purchased it from. I think on the administrative part there, it sort of looked a little strange, but I'm the owner, and in this case, applicant.
Just this picture here, can you just go in a little more detail what part of the fence you're proposing to remove?
If you go to the, I lost the page, right.
Yeah.
So it's really almost this whole way. It's the low picket fence that's got all the holes in it and part of it's falling down.
Right.
Just the low one. The high one or the tall one behind that is presumably the neighbors. It's a low picket fence and it runs very, very, very far left. You can see where it gets a little whiter. That's like a vinyl fence of the neighbors that goes 90 degrees back to the front of their garage.
So the part where there's kind of a big opening, everything to the left of that stays?
No, there's about 6 or 8 feet, and then it runs into where it goes 90 degrees with a brand new fence that the neighbor must have done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
And then the hole, and then all the way to the right, basically.
But this is the house that Bob Mercer, one of the other architects in his office, made a more extensive proposal to actually potentially raise the house, correct?
Sure. So that was in January. I was with him. I just wasn't speaking. That was Chris Vernat, yes, and Bob was on as well. That's a little longer term. That was during basically a due diligence process for me which I bought some time before I bought the house, just to understand that, sort of a grand scheme of things, what we could do down the road. And there was some demo, and it was really a due diligence, pre-buy hearing, we'll call it. This is now sort of a beginning to the actual kind of dig, I guess. But this is really, in my mind, a bit cosmetic. It's not part of the next big plan.
All right, thank you.
Well,
Fine,
I
she's
live
fine.
on Pearl Street and that will be a huge improvement. So thanks. And welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Any other comments or questions for the applicant? No? All right, thank you. Would anyone in the audience like to speak for this application? Would anyone in the audience like to speak against this application? HDC 21-17 is closed. HDC 21-18, 368 High Street, Miller Residence. Do I see them here?
Yep, we're here.
Okay. You may begin your presentation.
Great. Thank you. I'm Dawn Miller. This is Paul Miller. We are the owners / applicants. What we would like to do is replace an existing garden shed that is currently 7 feet by 10 feet. It's rotting and the supports underneath the structure is not, guess best way to describe it is intact or doing what it's supposed to do. So what we'd like to do is demolish the existing shed and then replace it. The new shed will be 8 by 12, board and batten. We're going to move it a little bit further away from the property line. And I think that's it. So we can go through the pages. So on the picture, what I had is not showing an existing structure. So I've drawn that in. It has a shed on the back portion of our property that's not there. So I crossed that off. And then where I've drawn in where our shed is going to go is where there is actually a shed on the property. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone. We go to the next page. There are pictures of the shed from High Street. The first one, which shows the house with the shed, you can't see the shed. So the next picture, I took a little bit closer up picture. Yep, and that's where the shed currently sits. The next picture is 90 degrees to the previous picture. So it's in the backyard. High Street is to the right. So that's what the current front of the shed looks like. The pictures below just show the rot and structure issues. And then the last page is what the new shed will be. It's a salt box style. We're not going to have, and it will be the same configuration with the door and the window. We're not doing the window box and we're not doing the shutters. that view of the, oh, and also the shingles will be a charcoal instead of a light gray. And we're going to stain the shed what's called natural cedar. Let's see, so the way the picture is you're looking at, that's what you're going to see from the backyard. From the street, you're going to see the side that's on the left. It'll be something similar to that, except on the right. I'm not sure that came out very clear. I'm not even sure I understood what I just said. Basically, the front of the shed is going to face the backyard and the side of the shed is going to face High Street. That's what I meant to say.
All right, and you're moving the shed forward from where it was previously existing? Yes? Or no?
No,
I'm looking at your GIS. I was getting a little turned around on it. Existing structure, you're moving it on the other side of the yard.
no. So in that first picture, so when we purchased, you're asking about the shed I crossed off?
Yeah.
Okay, so when we first purchased the property, there were two little sheds.
Mhm.
There was the one I crossed off, and then there is one where I drew in. So
Mhm.
it doesn't show the two sheds on this map.
Okay.
So what I was trying to show is that the one in the back doesn't exist. And there should have been a little square at the front where I actually drew in our new shed. So it's going in the same location, with the exception, it's now 3 feet from the neighbors. We're gonna move it to 6 feet from the neighbors. I think that's the setback, I believe.
And the existing structure has nothing to do with this. See the thing that's denoted as existing structure on the other side of the yard?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with it. I just drew it in because it doesn't show up on the
On the GIS.
GIS, right. I
Okay.
was trying to make it an accurate drawing.
And on the thing I'm looking at, that existing structure is actually on the property line. It's really right on the neighbor's property line. It's not set back, but it doesn't matter anyway,
Because it's not changing anything there.
Right, yes.
and
So,
so that your neighbor's, whatever that is on your property line. Right? It's
Perhaps.
it evens more so on what I'm looking at. It's more than half on your property.
The GIS maps are not accurate.
No, but
Yeah.
this other map I have, it shows it. It's clearly on, oh, it straddles the line, it looks like. So maybe I'm just pointing it out because the 6-foot setbacks to the property line, not to the neighbor's existing structure that's encroaching on your property. So if you wanted to make it closer, I suppose you could do whatever the setback was. Is that not right, Peter?
What was the question?
Is the setbacks there 6 feet from the property
6 foot for
line?
accessory structure. Yeah, 6 foot for accessory structure, less than
so
13 feet. anyway.
Bonnie's question, Peter, is that from these maps, it appears that the neighbor's structure encroaches and goes over their line. So if that's the case.
Yeah, it's a
Can
civil
you-
dispute between two property owners.
Right.
But she could go
Us.
6 foot from her property line, not from that existing structure, correct?
Right, you want 6 foot
Okay.
from your property line.
Okay.
The problem is if you get these situations where you're gonna get two surveyors involved or whatever, they're gonna be disputing over a property line, then we got all sorts of issues.
Yeah.
But-
Go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead. It's fine, Deb.
I was gonna change the subject.
I was too. I was just gonna say that I think that the shed is fine. And, it's nicer than the one that was existing there before. So I didn't have any additional comments on it.
My only question was, I still wasn't quite sure what the side of the shed that was facing the road was gonna look like.
I'm not surprised you're confused either. The side that's going to face the road is, looking at the last picture of the new shed. So the front where the door and the window is will be facing north or into the yard,
Yeah,
and the side will be facing the road. You can't see the side in the picture?
well, is the side gonna look like the side on the other side that I'm looking at in this photograph?
Yes,
All right, that's what it's gonna look like.
yes, it'll look
All right,
like that.
all right.
but
Doesn't
on
have
the
a
other
win-
side.
doesn't have a window in it or anything. It's just a board and batten wall,
Correct.
like I'm looking at here. Okay.
I'm confused as to where is the shed that you have the pictures of the foundation crumbling on your GIS map?
It's exactly where it is now.
So where I've drawn in the new shed is where the existing shed is. When we moved in, there
Okay.
were two sheds. They just was not depicted on the GIS.
Peter, can you go up one more, Peter? I
That's
wanna see
from the
the GIS.
backyard. That's from the backyard. One more. That one. That's what you see from the road, Don.
They're red, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay,
We have a combination of sheds, existing structures, and sheds that no longer exist. You just have to sort them out. Right?
Yes.
all right.
Don, did you want to go back to the GIS?
Yeah, let me see the GIS map. Okay, so basically what she's drawn in as her new structure is where the existing structure is.
Yes.
Okay, all right,
I was confused on that point as well. Yes.
all right.
But it's moved.
That
a li-
little
it's-
garage is the neighbor's thing that straddles the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm set with this.
It
Any
looks
other
fine,
comments or questions?
looks good.
Okay, thank you. Would anyone in the audience like to speak for this application? Would anyone in the audience like to speak against this application? HDC 21-18 is closed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I will call HDC 21-19 3 Elm Street.
Hi there. I'm Amy Plord and my husband Patrick Nolan. I'm the applicant and Patrick Nolan is listed as the owner. I'm the owner too, but it's right. We are requesting to take down, it's not an old fence, it's a newer fence from Rings End, and put up a fence that's a safety one for the pool. Not a safety, we're doing a wooden white fence, but just in accordance to the regulation.
Yeah, our existing wooden fence is, I think 9 inches too short to meet.
Right.
The existing fence is 39 inches high. We need to be at 4 feet for the safety regulations. We had originally come to the committee, I think it was back in September, talking about doing a safety pool fence within the yard. And based on the feedback from the committee, we thought just replacing the wooden fence with a higher fence.
Yeah, Sarah, I
you
think you had recommended that, and you were right. You were right. We didn't need a metal fence in the middle of the yard.
So you're just going higher, it's exactly the same fence?
It's not, we have a picture of it. They didn't make that fence, or we would have, because we liked it. And there should be a picture in there of the fence that he's going to use, which is, it's cedar. The only difference is there is a cap on it. It's a nicer fence. It's a little higher end, but.
You submitted a picture of that fence?
Yeah, Patrick, you have it if it's not in here, but yes, I did.
I could share a picture of it, but we did submit it.
The only reason I know is because I forwarded Patrick the email that I had sent to you guys.
So,
Would you like
It's
me to
not
present?
in our package.
well, all right, before we look at
that, let's look at this picture that's in front of us.
Mhm.
So this area in red is what you're looking to replace with the new fencing, right?
Right.
Okay. And on the western part of the property, what's there? Is that,
We're just gonna attach to it. That's, it's like a metal, like, it's a little bit nicer than chicken wire.
Chain link?
it's a pre-existing metal fence for the property?
Right.
Okay,
And it's nice, you don't see it, so we're
okay. And with the new fencing, if you go back, Peter, to the part where you can see the car and the grill.
so it will all be 4 feet.
Yeah, the hole there is just what they had to take down to bring the trucks in and out, but the fence went all the way across.
Yeah.
Keep going, Peter. I'm not sure where I am and where you are. Sorry, I've got,
What's that concrete thing in the back?
go up 2 more. Oh, sorry, Bonnie.
It's just a stone retaining wall.
Okay. Where's the pool?
One more
It's
here.
at the top of the yard there.
They're behind the
There we go.
rocks.
Okay, so here it's what we're facing, right? That whole line.
Yeah.
That whole line behind the Mustang is what you can actually see from the street.
Okay.
You can't really see
So
that
obviously,
fence that runs the long way, but
And what about this? And it's also this horizontal piece behind the grill, right?
yes, you can't see that from the yard, but that'll be exactly the same as the rest of the fence. It'll come up because it has to be 4 feet. So it'll come up and be that.
And this gate may be changing, but we can't see that from a public way, right?
You can't see it, but it will be, well, he told me the lock is on the inside and it will be identical to the rest of the fence.
But we can't.
It won't be
see
solid,
So
but no,
the
you can't
gate
see it.
Doesn't matter because we can't
No.
see the gate.
Right.
Okay.
You're putting in a pool? It's not
It's
an
in.
existing pool. It's in.
The pool's in.
The pool was pre-existing, wasn't it?
No,
Oh, it wasn't. For some reason, I thought it was.
would it be helpful to
Part-
pull up
that-
that picture so they can see the fence? I don't know
That's
why.
part of the reason they have to put the fence in there is to protect the pool for a barrier.
right. So we legally had to get a higher fence. And
Right.
when we came to you
Right.
before, we were talking about just the black metal fence, but I'm glad that you brought it up. I didn't think we were gonna do the whole yard, but it's a good idea.
Okay, and we don't have a picture of the fence. Do we have something that describes the fence?
Patrick has the picture. I do too, but I'm not, can you show them the picture? Can you screen share?
Says I can't share why other participants are sharing.
Right, so we're not supposed to screen share during public hearings because we're supposed to only utilize as a matter of notice information
Okay.
that's been submitted.
I can give you the description. Hold on one
And the
second.
picture was in the package that we sent through.
Okay. Where is,
So I'm
Do we-
I'm looking at your application and it says replace wooden fence with wooden fence that will comply with pool code and historic district code. Fence will be 4 feet and wood in exactly the same place it is currently. So,
I have the description if you would like.
sure, let's see. what we-
Okay, so 4 foot, the gap between pickets is no more than 3 inches. It's
Mhm.
actually like 1.5 inches. And it's cedar. It has to, and it will be painted white, but we have to let it season first.
Mhm.
That's all I got.
And is it pickets in shape? Like, is it?
It's
is it-
pickets. The only thing different than the pickets is that there's a cap on the top. So
Mhm.
and so each pole has a has like, you know, a square top.
Peter, can you scroll up 1 photo for me, please?
Sarah, I'm normally the stickler for this stuff, but
I know.
this is this
Yeah.
thing missing. Like, can he just screen share it? I mean,
I don't know. You know, these are, so,
Can I just hold it, maybe hold it?
yeah, it's, I agree with you, Eric. I'm getting,
I'm normally the jerk about it, so I just, it's one rail. I mean, I don't know.
yeah, why don't we allow a screen share to see how different it is than it looks presently, just to figure
If
out
it's
what we're
crazy
looking at.
different. Sorry, if it's crazy different, my suggestion would be come back,
Yep.
put it in the packet, do the whole thing. If it's not that different,
No, it's a white wooden fence.
I agree with you.
Applies for building code anyway.
So can someone allow me to do that or?
I think Peter's allowing you to do it now.
Can you see that Word document?
Yeah,
All right, so it's the same fence with a rail on top and a picket or a cat.
And 4 foot's all you need for a pool, the height?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it would have to be taller. That's cool.
Nope. Yeah, we're happy
Frustrating
because
that
it
it's only
would
9 inches difference and we have to
be,
replace.
yeah, yeah, it's hard. But
Okay, so
Could you do us a favor to forward the email to us that you
Sure.
said, just so we can take a look at that and see when you sent it and what was in there? Because
Sure.
so obviously something's happening. I'm not sure what.
okay,
well, the other possibility too is that for her to resend this picture and then we could just add that to the record like we have in other cases.
well, thank you, Don. We definitely need to do that. It needs to be added, but unless someone's here to speak in opposition of this hearing, then I think based on the description in her application, it gave enough adequate notice of what they were doing and then showing us the photo of what she's doing, and it's not drastically different than what is existing now, that I would be okay moving forward with it.
and the materials are the same. I mean, there's a lot of similarities, I think.
Right. Any other commission members' comments or concerns?
No, it's a lot more attractive. I don't know any neighbor who wouldn't rather have that than what was existing.
So to the applicants, if you could please,
Sure. Email that.
yep, and just ask it to be added to your
Okay.
file. And then I'll see if anybody's here to speak in opposition or in favor of this, and we'll navigate that unless another commission member has anything else to add. No? Okay. Well, then would anybody in the audience like to speak against this application? Would anyone in the audience like to speak for this application? Okay. HDC 21-19 is closed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
HDC 21-24 Latham Street. I've lost my notes. For Latham Street is the Hildebrands. Are they in the audience?
Sarah, I think they're phoning in. I don't know if I see any participants on the phone, but they were supposed to be calling in.
Okay. We have Biden, William Biden, Eve Hildebrand.
Yes, William Biden is working with. me.
Hello? Hello? Wait a minute. Yeah, hi, it's William Biden. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, hi, how yous all doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Hopefully this will be an easy one. So we want to install a shed, 10 by 12, already built. Well, I can't say that. It's almost already built. And we submitted it, yeah, there's the paperwork, yep. Okay.
Tell us all white to match the house.
Wait a minute, they're looking at the town map now.
So on this map, on the GIS map, are you the red circle there? Is that your property? Where's your?
And I'm looking
I
here.
can't tell red or purple.
I think she's the red one with the, look, what do you got,
It's
a
the
little
red
arrow?
dot with the yellow border around it, Sarah.
I think that might be it.
That's it.
That's it. Yep. Now, if you go to the north side, go up and see where that 16 feet is. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I laid it out. Yeah, there's a 2x4 here. There it is. That's a rough where it's going to go. Yeah, she might have another picture there. Let's see. Should be a map in here I did too. Let's see. Pictures. Here it is. There's what I did. Let's see. Okay. There's another one too that I submitted to him. It's 7 feet away from the wall. Yeah. That might be it there. I don't know. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I changed it. It was supposed to be R7, 6 feet. I moved it another foot. Yep. Yep, that's the shed. They're going to minus the shutters, white trim around the whole thing, and the little angles on the door, they're going to be gone, and it's going to be all painted white, and the roof is going to be, well, their charcoal is like a black, so it's going to be kind of like a black.
And what's the siding?
The siding is that, oh geez, the door, it's Douglas fir. And it's something about 111 something, I don't know.
G11.
It's texture 111?
Yeah, right. And the windows will be facing naturally towards the south, away from the neighbors. And, you know.
This house sits next to Kent Frost's office, is that correct?
Yeah.
Say, no, that's the other side.
But that property is next door, correct?
Ken?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom's place.
All right, so there's another structure that's over on that side that's on your property too, right?
Yeah, it's a garage.
It looks like a shed. I went over and looked at it today. It's red. It looks kind of dilapidated. It doesn't look like a car would fit in it.
Well,
A car would fit in it.
right.
It would? Oh,
But you're not doing anything to that.
Well, we're putting a shed up. They start putting stuff in the shed.
No, his question is, are you doing anything to the existing garage on the property?
Yes, as soon as the shed is in place, we're going to have the existing garage fixed up,
Repaired.
repaired. But we're not putting in paperwork for that yet.
Okay.
So the reasons for the questions, is we received a letter that they wanted to be read into the record about a concern, your neighbor had a concern about your garage. And I'm trying to find it now so that I can read it.
Well, Well, that's one of the reasons we're going to redo the garage.
So staff received a letter on April 29 from Mr. Thomas Manning that said, I would encourage the HCC Commission members to perform a site walk on Latham Street property before voting on the applicant's request for a new shed. There is an old garage existing on the property line abutting our property at 1 High Street. My wife and I have owned this property since the mid-1980s, and this building probably predates the founding of the Mystic Historic District. The building is approximately 20 feet to 22 feet in depth and 10 feet to 12 feet in width and has been in a dilapidated state for as long as we can remember. A site walk by the commission members would provide evidence of the building's condition and be beneficial to the commission in determining whether or not a new shed would be granted. I would argue that a restoration of the existing garage would provide more than enough space to satisfy the applicant in lieu of a new storage shed. A restoration of the existing garage would be in keeping with the purpose of the historic district. I appreciate the ability to provide this information to the commissioners. Thank you, Thomas Manning.
Okay, I want a shed put in to put things that you put in a shed. And when I redo my garage, I'm going to be parking my car in there. And my car will fit in there because years ago I used to park in there. But that is without a lot of shed type material. So that's what I need a shed for. I need a shed to take my material out of the garage to restore the garage. And I need a shed to put the stuff in it. The shed perfectly matches the house. There's no other shed in the area that matches their house like this shed's going to match it.
So if you go to the GIS map, can you show me where the shed's going to go?
Yeah,
Yes.
so see where the 16 feet is?
Yep.
And you got 93 feet, okay? So if you come off of that 16 feet, right, which is a storage drain coming down there from the town, okay? So you go in from that wall 9-10 feet, you'll see 2 little sticks on my drawing. From there, it's another 5 feet, so we're talking 14 feet away where the wall is, and down where the point is of the 16 feet where it sticks out, that's 14 feet from where that shed would start. And then it would go up 12 feet up, 10 across, 10 down, and 7 feet from the wall. And there's boundary markers there, and I know where they're at.
Peter, based on his description, can you try to put the arrow where the shed's gonna go?
What was that?
Oh, she wants to see a picture. Well, if you look at my drawing,
No,
Go
it's
up.
okay. No. I asked Pierre if he could put his arrow on the GIS map based on your description.
that's it, you got it.
That's all
Right.
It's up in the
Gotcha.
upper back corner.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's trying to show in this picture over here, because that's the accessory structure from the other property. This is where he's got those little stakeouts where he magnifies it a little bit better here. So that's that stone wall going here, and that's that accessory structure in the back right over here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So it's gonna be going in this back corner right over here.
Okay. Thanks.
yeah, so I got to dig it out. It's got to be dug out a little bit.
All right.
Peter,
Yep.
he's allowed to have 2 sheds, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't see anything wrong with the new shed, but I do think he probably should maybe have the tide to doing something to the dilapidated shed. If they're going to do that, have it in the same application and approval.
No, we're still looking at contractors. We just need the shed for this moment.
So I don't particularly have any problem with the second shed or the location or tying it to redoing the garage, but I do have a problem with the shed in itself and the materials. I just don't think it's in keeping with the surrounding homes.
I agree with Eric in that the materials, that T11 material is not something that we have really favored in the past.
Well,
My own opinion, I don't know if I think that from my own perspective, looking at the project as a whole, you know, I would almost consider suggesting a tie-in of correcting their existing structure a little overreaching, but that's my own personal opinion. My only concern is over the materials of the existing structure.
well, the structure can't be repaired until everything is emptied out of it, and we need a shed to put everything in it to be in a proper manner. Right now, everything is underneath my trees in my yard, and I'm going to take care of the situation with the garage as soon as possible.
Yeah, I agree with Sarah. I don't see the reason to tie it. I mean,
No, I know.
That's just-
I'll take that back.
If it's only temporary though, why not just get a pod?
Nah, we don't want a pod.
No.
No.
I
No
don't
pod.
I don't think it's temporary. At least what I heard you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you want to take the garage and restore it to being a garage for a single car. And that
Yes.
you do not believe you have enough space to use that existing garage as a garage and also store what you want to store.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, you're right. You're correct,
So you're
sir.
looking for a shed to store, I don't know, lawnmower, whatever.
Lawnmowers, gasoline, whatever.
Yes, exactly,
in a
sir.
separate structure. I think the other issue that was raised though was as to the appropriateness of texture 111 as a siding material. You know, texture 111 is a piece of plywood that's grooved. It's just got grooves in it to make it have a little bit more than just a plywood.
Oh, it's real plywood on the inside.
Oh, I know it is.
It ain't that press wood or whatever you call it.
No, I'll just reiterate though, I don't have any problem with the shed. I don't have any problem with the location or tying it to the other piece, but I just don't think that shed in where the location is on the property and how visible it is from multiple streets is appropriate for the district.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you.
I don't have any issue with you adding a second permanent shed. I don't have any issue with the location. I don't think it's necessary to tie it to renovating the garage. I do not think that the structure that you're proposing is appropriate. The materials are appropriate for the district in light of how visible it is from multiple streets and abutting properties.
Well, we have
Other people
all over the whole area. We have with the same sheds, and their paint doesn't even match their house. You have one on Water Street. It almost looks like a well, I don't want to say, but it doesn't match. None of the other sheds match the people's houses, and this one is going to.
It's not so much about the paint as it is the materials.
Well, from the roads, it looks like clapboards on my house.
Disagree with that.
So
You can usually tell the T11 material from a reasonable distance.
So just clapboard. If it matches the clapboard in your house, just cover it in clapboard.
Right.
And this is considered not a permanent fixture. I think we got kind of off on that. This is not a permanent fixture.
Are you suggesting that it doesn't need historic district approval?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you.
I'm not sure why you're saying that. I guess I was asking like why you're...
Someone keeps saying a permanent fixture. This isn't a permanent fixture like a garage is a permanent fixture.
So you're removing the shed after you fill it with the stuff that
I have no plans to remove it, but I'm told that it's not called a permanent fixture.
Just cover it in clapboard.
Right. I think you're getting hung up on terms, and we're just giving you our feedback. you know, you can choose to do what you want. I would like to see different materials. I think Eric has a good solution is to cover it in clapboard. And if that's not what you want to do, we can vote on it. And when we go to vote on these matters this evening.
Let me talk.
Just a second.
You got other houses in Mystic
Every one of them,
that you guys passed. That's right up by the library. I just looked at the lady shed. It's the same material. Same thing.
Show
On
them the shed that we just looked at.
Which one? Oh, the one I got the picture of?
No, the one our previous applicant
That
just
was-
showed
that's
us.
Oh, the salt box?
That's board and batten.
I think that was a salt box, right?
Yeah, that was a board and batten finish.
But I mean, just to show them that there's other finishes.
Well, I tell you, that shed's in the corner. You probably really won't be able to see it from High Street
at all.
because whatever's growing there. And then you got another shed. If you look closer, there's another shed there too.
It's
Some
in
other
someone
people got.
else's yard, though.
Right.
They're thinking it's in my yard. That's someone else's
No,
yard.
no, that's not. No, that's somebody else. Oh, there's their shed. Yeah, they got the boards going up and down, right? I see.
Well, texture 111 is normally a vertically applied sheathing
Okay.
material. I mean, the grooves that are milled out of the plywood run vertically, not horizontally.
Okay, that looks vertical right there, that shed you just showed.
Yeah, that's a board and batten, that's vertical, and texture 111 is vertical also.
Okay.
Different material.
That's-
So here's what I can say to you is you've made your presentation, you've heard
Yeah.
our feedback.
Yeah.
You can go to vote this evening, or you can continue your presentation to another hearing and take into consideration the feedback that we've given you.
Now, I already put some money down on the shed from over at Fleming's. I gave them a deposit on it.
Okay, so
They're gonna build the shed down in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
So
They're
just to be
saying
clear, so
that-
you don't want
Huh?
to continue the hearing, you want us to move forward with your application as is?
Well, yeah, we want to get the shed approved to move forward, right? We can start storing stuff in it.
Okay,
Then I gotta go work out there and,
I just want to be clear that you understand you've heard our feedback. And
Yeah.
you don't want us to continue the hearing, you want us to vote on your application this evening.
In other words, you're trying to let me think that you're going to vote it as no.
I am not in favor of the shed, I can't speak for any other commission members.
We're strongly suggesting
okay?
you should change the siding type.
Material.
Well, I don't know how I'm gonna change it.
Well, you know, there's a shed around, or just a corner around from my house on Water Street, and if anybody owns it, please take my apology. But right now, it looks like a clown house, and you've let that go in.
I can't tell you if that came before us or not, I can just speak to what's before me right now.
Well, then since you got a complaint with Tom next door, right?
I don't have a concern with you building a second structure without fixing up the garage. That is not my issue.
So Tom should talk to us about that.
That has nothing to do with this that I'm discussing with you. What I'm asking you is, do you want me to continue your hearing, or do you want me to close the public hearing and vote on your application?
I mean, what else is there to say? You see a picture of the shed. It's all wood. It's got no shutters. It's going to be all white trim. The little angles on the doors will be gone, so that'll be just trimmed out. It's going to be sitting on stone. I don't know what else can you really say?
I don't need more information. I just want to be clear that I'm doing what you want me to do, which is either continue or move to close the public hearing.
Well, it sounds to me like how many people are for it? I mean,
I can't tell you that.
this-
I can tell you that most of the commission has suggested that they don't approve of the materials.
well, the material is, we've worked on it. We've got it to match this house as much as possible, which is why there's going to be no shutters on it, because there's no shutters on the house. And the house is all white, no trim, all white. The trim is white. So that's what is going to be on this shed. And there's nothing more we can do. I mean, we've gone by so many people's sheds and they just look ridiculous.
You want pictures? I can go pictures right now, other people's.
So do you want me to move this application to be voted on?
It's not relevant what other people have in this sense. What we're
Well, it's
just,
supposed to be relevant if it's relevant for mine. I mean, I can drive right by their houses and see them.
Do you want me to continue the application or close the public hearing?
You just tell them.
I guess we don't really understand what's going on.
So you can either you can continue the application and you can change the materials of the shed.
Oh, say we can amend the application.
Correct. Or you'd have time to amend it, or we can close the public hearing and vote on it, and you'll either be approved or not approved.
Well, I guess you got to find out what they're going to do, Eve. What do they want to do?
It sounds like they're going to vote against it.
Well, I don't know. So,
if it come for a preliminary hearing, we probably would have suggested to you that you should change the siding, and you could have taken that into account when you made your presentation formally. Now you're at the formal presentation, you're suggesting this, and we're telling you it's a bad idea, or at least we're suggesting it sounds like a bad idea.
Well, we went to the town and asked about the siding.
talked to Tom. They thought it was good.
We've talked about this with Tom.
I don't know what to tell you. We have the option of a preliminary hearing where you can bring your ideas to us and we can tell you at that time whether, we think you should make changes to it.
So this means we have to have another meeting and it's not in person? When will your meetings start to be in person? Have you got any idea?
All I can tell you is I can't wait, but I have no idea.
So can you, well, geez, I don't know what to do, Eve. I don't know.
So you can either continue it and change your materials, or we can vote on it. And if you're approved, you're approved. I don't know the other commission members. Or if you're
what materials do you want?
Then you can put a new application in for, well, I would recommend you go to a pre-app. And then we can tell you a little bit more information about materials.
Okay, this wasn't.
Can you tell us about the material you want right now, and we'll sit here and write a list?
Well, no, because we have other applications that are waiting for us to vote on them.
Well, it seems like we waited a very long time patiently for a lot of other people in front of us.
This is a public hearing, and that's not the place to do that.
What?
I don't understand the whole thing.
So what you're asking me to do is what we would normally do in a pre-application hearing. This is a public.
But we didn't have a pre-application hearing. We went right to the regular application.
I understand that, and that's part of the problem.
Oh, so you're saying we should have had a pre-application.
Yes.
And when I talked to Tom and them, they thought it was all right. And Tom there, and they thought it was all right to go right with it right now. There shouldn't be a problem with the shed. So I went down to Fleming's, gave him $500.
Yep.
Waiting for the outcome. Wrote him a check.
You should find out.
So, if you want a certain kind of siding on there, I guess we got to know about it. I don't know about it.
What kind of siding do you have on your house?
We got, what do you call it?
I call it clapboard.
No, it's siding. It's the long horizontal siding.
Clapboard, sounds like clapboard siding.
Yeah, I guess that's what you call it.
Vinyl or wood?
No, it's their wood. It's wood. It's not vinyl.
Cedar.
What I would do, take your shed, slap a bunch of cedar siding on it, and you'll be fine.
I agree with Eric.
What'd you say there, Eric?
Take the shed, I would
Yep.
slap a bunch of cedar siding on it to match the house and go over your TP or texture 111, and your shed would be fine, in my opinion.
It won't be a problem.
And that's what we'll do, but we need it written down.
So
So I don't know, with the trim on it, with the white trim, we still gonna better put the siding on there?
Just slap
And I
some,
guess,
just slap some 1x on the corners. You'll build it out. It's a weekend project.
Or slap a bunch of 1x2s on there and call it vertical board and batten.
Yeah, you could do that too. The
Steve,
the only problem, Peter, is that the T111 isn't equally spaced in some cases.
Yeah, you put enough paint and caulk in there, you'll be fine.
man, I don't know, you guys down in,
Well, what I'd like to do is, I'd like to come to your office tomorrow and get the list of exactly how you want it.
So, Miss Hildebrand, this would be my suggestion. If you're amenable to changing the siding of the shed, is that we continue your hearing and then you take a bit of time to work with staff based on our comments. And then you come back and you present the shed with the new siding on it.
are you okay with not putting the siding on the doors?
I don't know how that would look. I can't imagine that it would look appropriate. I guess I'd have to see what you're talking about.
Well, you got two doors there that open up.
Mhm. I mean, I wouldn't suggest that the doors be sided with clapboard and layers.
Right, now you got it.
Well, you can't tell. It's possible that the doors are just plywood with the trim around it. You said you were gonna get rid of the little 45-degree.
Yeah, we're gonna get rid of that, the 45, right.
If the door were a flat panel and it was cased with the trim on it, even if it was plywood, if it was a finished piece of plywood and it was painted white, the doors could be a different texture than the rest of the siding. It would be fine.
Right. Yeah, because you see doors all around town, they're all different. You got all kinds of doors.
Right, but what I would do is I would talk to Fleming's
Yeah,
and just find out. I mean, the
if you
easiest way
could
to
do
do,
the siding.
yeah, the easiest way to, well, look at that drawing that we just looked at there. The easiest way to do it would be
Make it clapboard,
to have them do it when they make the shed.
order it
Let's
that.
do right there.
Yeah, that's board and batten. That's vertical. board
Not
and
that
batten.
one, that other shed.
Go to the next one, the drawing, Peter. Oh,
Yeah, 'cause he's gonna use stain on that one, clear. Right,
Not that one. There was another. one.
uh,
next, go up one, I think. Yeah, right, up.
Yeah,
No, you went by it.
that classic shed.
well, I can't see that one.
I think that other drawing had a clapboard shed.
Yeah, you had there.
That's all vertical board and batten too.
No, it was a drawing of a classic shed.
Right, I saw it.
I think that was the garage renovation thing.
It was
Yeah, I
a
think it was an earlier hearing.
schematic. It's a schematic.
Yeah, it was.
It's
This
not a
one?
picture.
No, it's not this presentation.
No, that's the other guy.
Yeah, board and batten, that would be what you'd be wanting for it.
Guy.
It's
Yeah,
right,
that's-
it's right under the board and batten shed.
Yeah. Yeah,
I gotta write down
It's
board.
on the same picture. It's actually on the same page of the presentation, Peter.
If you look at the door, if you look at the doors on that other one with the board and batten, I mean, those doors are kind of generic.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
the picture with the board and batten, if you go to that,
Yeah, I'm
just
trying to-
under it is the picture of the other shed that has clapboard.
Yeah, you're right, Bonnie.
All right, here's the
Yeah.
one with the board and
Right
batten
there.
Right there, right
There.
there. Right, just went right by it, Peter.
underneath, just go up a
Go
slight,
up.
up,
Up.
the
Wrong
other
way.
way, the other way.
Or call it down, I guess. we should call it.
Right
Right,
there.
right there, right there. See the clapboard on that?
Oh, man.
I see what you're talking about. So the door is no problem. I don't see a
Yeah.
problem with the door.
But that siding would match your house better.
Which one? That one?
No, the
No.
one underneath.
That
Yeah.
one.
There,
Bring it up. Bring it up.
that's
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
I'm talking about,
So long as we use siding, it doesn't matter, right?
pretty much.
Okay. I mean, you got all kinds of siding.
Okay.
All
So
right.
would you like me to continue your hearing?
Well, I don't know what we're continuing, what shed we're getting now, or if we're gonna put thing on it, or gonna amend it.
So procedurally, what I would do is
Go ahead.
continue this hearing until our next meeting. And then you
All
can
right.
present this shed with the changes that you've made between now and then.
So you're not worried about the door?
No.
Okay, just the little 45s, get rid of them?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll go talk to and see if I can get that shed made with siding, vertical, horizontal siding.
And he should have a photograph that you could use as your submission.
Okay, so you want horizontal siding.
Clapboard siding, horizontal clapboard siding.
It
Okay.
doesn't have to be that, though.
No, it doesn't, but let's simplify the process here.
Well, now, there's another guy, that was Fleming's, there's another guy up in Colchester too. And they all get their sheds from the same place,
Yeah.
down in Lancaster somewhere. The Amish or whatever it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I was 30 years old, I'd go out and build one, but I'm not 30 years old anymore. You know, I can't do it.
So it sounds
Okay,
like,
so I'll go talk to Fleming's. And what do you want me to do, get back to you guys?
so work with staff, Tom, get him the information, make sure it's uploaded before your next hearing, double check it, make sure all the photos you've submitted are there. Based
Okay.
on this conversation, you know what our concerns were, which are the siding.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wanna see a shed that doesn't look like this, that looks like it has the siding on it. With,
Well, it'll look like that, but it'll have the horizontal
Yes.
siding.
exactly, yes, the
Okay.
shed structure itself, speaking for myself, I have no problem with.
You don't care about the color? I heard you say that earlier.
No,
Not care about color.
Okay, don't correct it, so I can paint, we can paint it pink?
Yeah, you can paint it pink.
All right, I appreciate that.
Well, should we have him come back for a pre-hearing the next time?
I don't think that's necessary, quite honestly, Don.
All right.
Okay. So we gotta see the cost, what it's gonna cost to change it. Okay, so the siding, is it okay, pine siding, okay? You okay with pine?
Sure, you're gonna paint it, right?
Yeah. I mean, you know, cedar's more, you know what
Yeah.
cedar costs.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, okay, all right.
I do have one question. Where do I go, to the town hall or to the annex building to get a copy of the gentleman next door's,
Yeah,
from 1 High Street letter that he wrote to you?
his concern.
You can go to the annex. You could probably also just reach out to the staff at annex and give them your email address and they could probably forward it to you. You probably don't have to go anywhere.
I have an email, so I'd like to go in person and pick up a copy.
Okay.
And Tom's on the zoning, isn't he? Ain't Tom on the zoning board?
It's not zoning, it's planning, and Tom has a copy, so you can ask for Tom.
I think he's talking about.
No, no, no.
Being on the
Who's on
ZBA.
the zoning board?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Tom Manning, I know Tom.
I misunderstood. There are too many Toms. I apologize.
He's on the zoning board, right? He's one of the voters?
I do not know.
You don't know who's on the zoning?
I have
I
no
believe he's
idea.
on- I believe he's on the zoning board of appeals.
He is. Unless he got off. Okay. All right, so
Different
I'll
committee.
go to Fleming's, he says. I don't know.
So when's the next meeting?
I think we determined that it was the 18th of May, but let me double check to be sure.
It is.
Please, it is? Okay, 18th of May.
Okay, thank you. And
So-
is there a cost for that?
No,
But there's
Okay.
deadlines.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
So
you.
Does she have to meet any deadlines?
well, I'm gonna refer her to Tom in this instance because she's already been noticed in the paper. So I
Okay.
don't know her deadline to get all of her
Okay.
information in. I just know the paper deadlines at the
Gotcha.
moment.
Now,
So-
once it's approved, they say you got a year to do it, Tom said. That's
was
true?
longer.
I thought it was longer than
I
that.
thought it was longer. I thought it was 3 or 5 years.
I thought it
I
was
thought-
5.
Yeah, I thought it was 5 too.
Yeah, I don't think it's a year. That sounds too short.
Sure, for a building permit.
Yeah. So building's different than HDC. HDC, it 3 to 5. I should know that. Okay, so
Okay.
Ms. Hildebrand, I will continue your hearing. Yes, that's what I'm hearing you'd like me to do.
Okay.
Okay.
So in the meantime, if I find other sheds in the historical district that were just put up, pictures of them, that's got the same material, you gonna accept that?
Probably not.
Probably not. Have it the
Not
ones that
from
already,
my perspective. I'm not gonna speak for anybody else's.
Or mine.
the other people take theirs down?
Pardon?
You gonna make the other people remove theirs?
If it was unpermitted, someone can file a complaint.
Yeah, if they didn't come to us and get permission, they might have it taken down. Yes,
Yeah, there's a complaint form you can fill out at the town.
we had
There might
somebody
be
take
them-
us down.
Might be a few of them coming down.
The certificate of appropriateness is valid for 5 years from the date of issuance.
Thank you, Peter.
Unless there's some kind of godfather, or some kind of grandfather law after 10 years or something. I don't know. Is there a pre-existing law?
Well, if it was put up before the commission was created, then
Oh, when was that? 70?
I think it was the 90s. It's irrelevant. It's,
Oh,
so,
okay. The 90s.
so
Who's the people that voted for the historical committee?
the town of Groton,
And what year was that?
I don't remember.
So, okay, so I understand that. So you gotta follow the rules. And this is the rules.
Yes. So
And there's a
I
cop-
will, go ahead.
And there's a copy over at the library too. Are they still good rules or are they being amended?
So you can get the Historic District Commission rules on the website or from the town hall. I do not know if the town hall charges for them.
No, I think the library's got a set in that back room.
They're free online on the webpage too.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
So-
So
If I find something that's different, than what we're talking about now, I can present that?
you can present anything you want.
Okay, all right. I'm not saying I'm gonna find anything, but you never know.
Sure. All right. So I move to continue this application.
Okay. You okay with it, Eva?
Yep.
I second the motion.
All in favor? I'll do a roll call. Goodman? Goodman?
Yes.
Thank you. Moriarty? Aye. Brady?
Aye.
Levinson?
Aye.
Null? Bonnie, you're muted.
Aye.
Thank
Sorry.
you. All right, this application is continued.
You want a
So
copy of it?
I
Can I
will
have-
into the voting on the applications that we've already heard tonight. And I closed by accident my agenda. I apologize.
There it is.
Oh, now I've closed all of you. Sorry. All right. Can you scroll a little further down, Peter? Maybe I can find mine. Oh, there we go. Okay. So HDC 21-17s.
Peter, can you just mute the participants? Sarah, you, someone mute them?
I have no control. It's all Peter. I'm just trying to get back to my agenda.
Thank you.
Peter, would you mind scrolling up just a little bit? For some reason, I can't see the whole screen. It's my computer, not you, I'm sure.
No.
Oh, there we go. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, HGC 21-17, 17 Gravel Street, Mary Martin, owner Daniel Grace, exterior renovations and fence. This, if I recollect correctly, was the removal of all of those, the front overhang, the back overhang, the garage overhang, and the fence. There was no additions to this application. Does anyone have any comments or motions?
Just one comment. I have no problem with it, but I just want to make sure that if there is a larger plan, that somehow it's recommended to them that they make it as a cohesive application instead of just piecemeal. However, we also get piecemeal, so I understand both sides of it. I just want to make sure that we're not like tearing the house down in little chunks.
Right.
But I also think that everything that's on there should come off. So.
Okay, noted. Anyone else have any other comments or motions?
I have a motion. I'd like to approve his request to take those things down.
I'll second.
I'll roll call. All in favor. Goodman,
Aye.
Moriarty, aye. Brady,
Aye.
Levinson,
Aye.
Nault.
Aye.
The application is approved. HDC 21-18, 368 High Street, Don and Paul Miller, owner applicants demolish shed and install new shed. I'm sorry, normally I have everything up to give me notes as to what the kind of like the crib notes on what the application was. So if I recollect,
The red shed going.
Changing the full-
was this the red one?
Face,
Okay,
4-foot fence
that's right. The red,
around the pool.
no, that was
no.
Florida.
No,
That was the next one.
okay. You're
This
right.
one was the shed. This was just the shed, the red shed with the salt box shed. That's what this one was.
Right.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second it.
Any comments? All right, all in favor, Goodman,
Aye.
Moriarty, aye. Brady,
Aye.
Levinson,
Aye.
Nault.
Aye.
The application is approved. HDC 21-19, 3 Elm Street, Patrick Nolan and Amy Plorde. This was to remove the fencing around the pool and replace it with the new fencing with the top rail and the caps of the photo that they showed us. In just the 2 sections of the fencing and the gate portion, we won't be able to see from a public way, to which the applicant also said that they would resend a photo of the replacement fence so that we could add it to the record that they had previously sent. Any comments or motions?
I would move to approve.
I'll second.
Comments? All in favor, Goodman,
Aye.
Moriarty, aye. Brady,
Aye.
Levinson,
Aye.
Nault.
Aye.
The application is approved. HGC 21-40 is the 4 Latham Street that we just heard, which we continued. And then HGC 21-15 to Prospect Street, Stephen Casella. This was the exterior renovations where it appeared to be that much of the information somehow got lost, and he is going to withdraw his application and submit an entirely new application to include the deck. So there's no vote that I am aware of that we would need to make on this application. Okay. Next, pre-application hearings. Is there anyone in the audience for any pre-apps?
Yes, Diana Fana.
You are all set, please. Please, you have the floor.
I can't hear you.
You may make your presentation.
Okay. I have to shut. Okay. I'm Diana Fana. I live at 8 Bank Street here in Mystic. And I have a small deck and staircase that were on the house when I purchased it in November 2010. The deck and stairs are in very bad condition and do not meet code. They were put up by, I believe it was Ann Ritterbush, who owned the house before me. So I would like to demolish, excuse me, the current deck and stairs. And I would like to enlarge the deck area to 11 by 12 feet and put in a spiral staircase, which would make the use of the deck and staircase a lot better than what it is now. I have information. I'm just not sure what you want me to show you tonight versus the next time, because I do have information. If you just tell me.
So do you have kind of like a pseudo presentation, like if Peter's screen shared, you could show
Yeah,
us?
could I do a screen share?
Sure.
Okay, and then now let's see. I have to. You're gonna have to help me here. Oh, share. Do I push share?
So Peter should give you the ability to screen share, and then on the bottom, they share screen.
Oops, did I?
First, yeah, share screen down there, click on it. You should be able
There
to
you go.
share it.
So now we
Yep,
see your
there you go.
screen.
I also can do the video.
You're in control right now, so whatever's on your computer, we're seeing.
Well, before, when I had the toolbar from your Zoom, there was, let's see, does that help? I can't put my video on.
So where's your video stored?
Well, let's see. Can you see that?
We can see your email right now.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fine. As long as you can see that.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start off by showing you pictures of my house. And I'll just have to go through them. That's the front. Whoops. Oh, no. That's the front of the house. That's the north side of the house. South side of the house. The rear of the house. And you can see the deck and the staircase now. It's like it was just thrown up when the lady was selling the house. And let's see. That's a picture of the stairs and the deck that's up there, what I have. And that's just another picture. What I'm going to show you next are a couple of the decks that are on my street. This one is right next door to me. I'm number 8. This is number 10. And this is number 12 Bank Street. There's 2 structures, the main house and a small structure, both of which have decks. And up at the other end of the street, there's a deck there. Oops, don't know what happened to that. Okay, so those are decks that are attached to houses on the street. What I I think also you need to see my house, the rear of my house from Pearl Street. That's what I was told. And when you're standing on Pearl Street, that's my house right there. You really can't see very much, but that's it. And let me see. Whoops. Ooh.
That's a picture from Gravel Street.
Oh, no, wait a minute.
That was a
No,
pic-
Pearl Street.
that was a picture. It looked like from Gravel Street.
Gravel Street's the one along the river, right?
Correct.
You can't see my house from the river.
That was Gravel Street.
That was Gravel Street.
That was
This-
Gravel Street. That was the condos that used to be a
Mas-
Masonic temple.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, maybe I did. Maybe. Okay, then I must have taken it. Get my streets mixed up.
I'm not, I mean, that's what it
Yeah,
looks
yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. That. Let me just, there's one more. Okay, that is Pearl
Right.
Street. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. So there I am right there.
Okay.
My error. I stand corrected. So let's see.
So what is it
So
that you're looking
what-
to do?
Right. What I'm proposing is, let's see, I have my. I've never done this before, so this is the first time. With the Zoom.
You're doing pretty good for a first time.
Well, first time doing a Zoom presentation, so, okay, so basically it was demolition of the current first floor rear deck and staircase and construction of a new deck and staircase. What I would like to propose is enlarging the deck to 11 feet wide and come out 12 feet. The elevation would be 9 feet. And then I spoke with my contractor. He's well aware of code. And he just gave me a few bits of information, 8 inches by 42 concrete pier, 2 inches by 10 inches pressure treated framing. I would have to put in a concrete slab for the base of the spiral staircase. And then the decking would be AZAC decking boards with the AZAC joist rim wrap. And then and I do have pictures about the staircase and the railing, so I'm going to go to another slide. So the iron shop, which is out of Pennsylvania, that's where I would be getting the spindle railing system and the staircase, the spiral staircase. The railings would match. The spindles also would match the front. Oops. Now I'm not sure where I am. Wait a minute, I'm gonna close this. There we are. The spindles on the rail system and on the stairs would match the railing that's on the front porch of the house. All right, here is. These are specifications of the railing system and the stairs. So they're all here. I'm going to open this. I'm not sure if this is the one I need or not. Yeah, no, that's the same as what I had. And the other one that I need to show you
is,
The first thing, iron shop blueprints.
well, I'm going to show you that too. It seems to me, and I'm hoping I put it in here. I'm going to show you the blueprints. That's quite involved. This is drawn up by them, so it has all the information there. There's also one other document that I did have in here. And just give me 1 second. I'm going to go to another. I actually had a picture of the staircase, the spiral staircase, and for some reason,
Is it from that Chris McLeod?
well, Chris is the one. I hate to take up your time and try to be looking for. No, that's not it. I think I can do it this way. I'm going to go into my downloads. It may not be this one, but it's going to be one of the other ones. So you can see all my genealogy stuff. No, it's not that one. All right, I'm going to shut that down. And it's this, it's got to be one of these. It's definitely one of these. Okay, this is it. So this would be the spiral staircase. So the vertical railing system, which is what they see. Oops. They call it a triple in-between spindles. That's the name they give this. And so these it would all be powder coated white mat. And these rails would be the same railing system on the deck.
So is your question, what will you need to come back for a public hearing?
Right. I had talked to Linda and she said that this was my pre-application. So I just need to know what I need to do next.
Okay.
Is the question, how come you're just not going with a regular traditional staircase and going with this whole spiral?
Because I have, there's not enough room on the property. And I also have a grinder pump. And I don't want to be digging into the sewer line for one thing. And they're really, I mean, there's just not enough room for me to enlarge the deck and put in a staircase. There's not really a good amount of space in the backyard. If I would be coming out into the middle of my backyard with stairs.
And did I hear you say that this is matching your front railing system?
Well, let me see, I'm going to shut this down. Let's see. I have to shut this down. Hopefully I'm not going to shut anything down. That's going to, I'm going to go back to the house. There's my front porch.
It'll be white like that.
Right. And it's the railing system that I'm proposing matches this front railing much better than if I were going to go with putting up 4x4-inch posts along the,
Could you do me a favor and go to the back picture of the
The
back?
house?
Yes, please.
Yes.
And just sort of with your mouse, describe
Sure.
where you go
Oh,
with
yeah.
the deck.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so as you can see, this was an addition that was put on by, I believe it was the Nickersons, Russell and Judy Nickerson back in '85. That's my guess. So this addition sets back. I would be coming out from the exterior wall, and I'd be coming out to about with the deck where this porch roof is, and going across, and I'd be coming up just shy of the downspout. And then the spiral staircase would be coming, whoops, down like this.
Where that tree is.
Yes, which is got to go. It's not good. The contractor said that the spiral staircase, because the door is here, it would be direct, even though you're coming across the deck. You know, we'll put the staircase here. You can't see it in this photo, but where this shrub is, this shrub hides the grinder pump. So my sewage line is roughly
So you couldn't put regular steps.
no, and then it goes under the sidewalk and to there. So, oh, just a second. Important. I have a picture of the as-built map. And Bill was here from Smith Plumbing, and he kind of went over this. So this is not really correct because there should be an indentation where the back of the house is, where the stairs now. So he said this is not in scale. This map is not in scale. So basically, I need to be able to put the deck on and then have my stairs, and I don't want to encroach upon
Got it.
the sewer line. So that's why using a spiral staircase makes the best use of a small amount of stair space for the deck, rather than coming out 14, I think it's 14 steps and risers.
Probably look better too.
Oh, yeah, because you really won't even, yeah, I mean, first of all, to put a staircase, it would really be, I'll go back to a picture of the house. It's less obtrusive. And I mean, this is really in tough shape.
How come you can't go with the regular stairs going to the right as opposed to coming out?
There isn't
into the
enough
right?
room. There's really not enough room. I'll tell you, I have a varied background. Part of me is a retired nurse and therapist, and the other part of me went to design school. So I have some education in design and architectural. So I'm trying to make it the least obtrusive. And
Do you have an idea of what size that deck is that's up there?
yes,
now?
I said, yeah, I did say it would be 11 feet, which comes just.
No, the one that's up there now, what's the size of what we're looking at?
Oh, God, it's I think it's roughly 4 feet. And let's say, I'm not sure, maybe I'm going to guesstimate 5. Judy Nickerson, when I talked to her, because I had to talk to her about something that was totally unrelated to this, and I'm not even sure if she's still living. But she said to me, I hope Ann put a nice deck up for you, and I didn't want to spoil her thoughts of what might have been. And I just said, oh, yes, but this was something that was just thrown up. I mean, it's when Ed came out to take a look at, which he has seen this before, he said, oh, yeah, that's really bad. I mean, the wood is splitting. It's a mess. You'd have to, I suppose, this is what I'm proposing is the best solution to a small amount of space. Because right here, right off the step here is the grinder pump.
So in order to answer your question of what materials or what you need to be prepared for a public hearing,
right?
You need all of the things that you've shown us. You need
Right.
a GIS map, which I'm sorry.
I think I have a GIS map that was in my, because Town of Groton GIS map, and it hasn't changed in the last 10 years, right?
Nope, you can go online and get one. It's the same one.
Okay, I
You
have
need
that.
the schematics that you showed us
The
from
blueprints?
Yep, the blueprints. You need the detailed material list, the size of the deck.
What a detailed material list,
Which is probably on the blueprints, but you might want to double check.
Oh, you're talking about the material for the spiral staircase.
And the decking.
The decking would be AZAC. Right.
So you would just need to submit that somewhere in your application, either in a Word document or on your application.
Need like a little plan of the deck.
Right. Well, the size, the dimensions, how
I
wide.
could, would that be just doing something out on graph paper?
That would work.
You could do that. Yep.
Just do the dimension of the deck.
In relationship to the house.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah, my other question with the spiral staircase, how are you going to get deck furniture up there?
You don't have to worry about that because my house, this is the first floor, but from the back, it goes down. You can go right through the front. There's a door right here where this back door is. In this room, right straight across from it is another doorway. So you go in the front. There it is, right there. So you go in, you take what you need in that front door, you walk through the room and you go out the back door. And
did I miss anything in telling her what she needs for a hearing? Anybody?
I think you covered it.
I will say one thing, I've already picked out the deck furniture, so I know it's going to fit out the back door.
Probably a elevation with the.
Then the elevation is 9 feet.
No, but draw like a little sketch of where the stairs are going. and the
Right,
deck.
right. The architect who had done the handline drawing, just something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm good. Oh, and when do I have to get this in?
So to be on the agenda for the hearing on the 18th, you need to submit your application tomorrow.
And if I think I pretty much have everything. I don't see any reason why I shouldn't be able to finish the rest.
And if you can scan it all together in one continuous file, so much the better.
Well, here's the problem. My scanner's not working on my printer.
Go to library. The library has a scanner.
If you have all those photographs and all those drawings, you should be able to just scan them in.
Can't I just put it in one email and send it?
Well, but if it's the problem becomes, you can do it, but the problem becomes if in putting this together, the staff has to start grabbing each individual photograph, one after another.
Right.
It just makes it a lot more complicated than if you just make one big file and you can just roll right through it. But it's, I mean, we can't stop you from doing it that way, but it makes it a much more labor intensive job for them to get it posted up.
So I have to call Mystic Noank Library tomorrow and see if they have a scanner. That's where you're,
Well, I would think seriously about that, or Staples for that matter, I suppose.
Well, I know for sure the Groton Public Library does. I don't know
Okay.
about the Mystic one.
okay, so in other words, the Groton Public Library, the one where the senior center is.
Yeah.
Okay,
If you
Let me just so she doesn't, just
Call
so,
them first, but they've been open.
I'm sorry, was somebody going to say something? Somebody else?
yeah, and just so she doesn't get sabotaged. I mean, does anybody else have a problem with the spiral staircase than me?
I don't have a problem with it.
I
Sure,
don't
don't
have,
mind it.
I
Well,
like it better than those long stringy steps.
That's
Okay.
right. Spiral staircases have been around for centuries.
I'm with you, Don, but I don't know that there's an alternative.
I think if you were actually here on the property, physically here, you'd see it. Pictures sometimes don't do things justice.
Yeah, I just, I don't want her to go through all this and if we have a basic problem with what she's proposing, but doesn't sound like it.
It's a tough site. That whole side of Bank Street's hard.
Bank Street's a tough street to live on.
All right, any other questions or suggestions for the applicant? Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, looking,
Go next.
Peter, I think I have Adam. Is that what you see too?
Yeah,
Okay. Adam, go.
we gotta get Diana, she's gotta stop sharing her
Oh,
screen.
do I just stop share? Right?
Yep, you got it.
Yes.
I got it. Thank you.
Can I start?
Yes, please.
And
Hi, I'm
you're to
Adam.
you're to be congratulated for bearing with us. I know this has been painful.
I actually had two meetings going at once. You were in one ear and my other meeting was in the other ear. So I'm Adam Thomas. I'm the pastor of St. Mark's Episcopal Church here on Pearl Street. I can actually see the other applicant's house, I think. And I'm here with our solar contractor, Mark Waldo. So he's going to jump in here in a second as well. But you're going to be seeing a lot from us over the next couple of months because we are beginning to ramp up several of our projects coming out of our capital campaign in 2020. One of those projects is a solar plant on the flat roof of our education wing. And we're here to just run over our current thinking about how that's going to look with you all. We don't know exactly when we're going to put in the official application, but it's going to be within the next couple of months. So I'm just going to turn it over to Mark if you want to give them the details.
Sure. Hi, I'd like to just try and let me make sure give you any information that you need so we can kind of cover any questions that might come up. I have some detailed photos and a kind of a site diagram. So I don't know if we want to screen share and I can show you what I have.
Sure, Peter, if you could enable that.
Yep, he's available right now. He can just share your screen.
Okay, I'm definitely not the best at this, but
You see on the bottom where it says share screen. There you go.
all right. So let me start with this, just to give you an idea of what the system is going to look like. So we've got essentially covering that whole flat roof area with a ballasted system. The panels are.
Oh, Mark, can I just stop you real quick?
what
go for
we're-
it.
What we're looking at right now, and maybe that's what we're supposed to be looking at, is just thumbnails of images.
Thumbnails of images?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Because I'm looking at,
Mark, this is
Yeah.
Adam. Why don't you
Yep.
let me share? I'm a Zoom expert.
go for it.
Okay. I do like 9 Zoom meetings a day. So let's see. We're gonna do...
I'm on the roof. That's where I live.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just gonna share this desktop.
All have our strengths.
Okay, so you're talking about this one here. Can you all
there
see
you
that?
go.
All right.
So basically, I mean, it's not to scale. This is a drawing to give you an idea of what the array looks like from a top view. So what I wanted to make sure that you could see is that there's a dimension there that's facing Pearl Street. We're going to be about 3 feet set back from the edge with our ballasted panel. What that does is it just gives the visual effect that we're going to be not hugging that edge. And if you go to, there's some pictures in there that I used for.
Yep, I got it.
You can, yep, that one right there is, if you can look at the structure behind, you'll see that edge is essentially, they're lining those panels up right next to the edge. That would be a worst case scenario of a visual effect from the ground.
Oops, sorry.
And yeah, no, I mean, that's a good segue, because this is the edge that will be visible. And I don't know exactly what you want to see or are going to. I tried to do some drawing on this, but I felt like I was making things worse by attacking it with my skills on the computer. So there would be small, but there would be a visual effect from the ground. You would see the raised edge. The panels are going to be at a 10-degree tilt, and it's kind of we can drop them to 5 degrees, but I lose production. The flatter I go, I'm going to lose the irradiance of the sun. So I want them higher.
This is the roof that we're talking about here. But obviously this is from the top that you can see, and then from the street you don't see the flat roof at all.
So what's the height at the highest part of the panel? How far off the roof is it?
That's a good question. So back into you've got the EcoFoot, the second file down in that group. Yep. And if you go down to the second, I thought we had an exact. I guess I don't have that exact measurement off the top.
So it's a 10-degree incline, you said. So it's
Correct.
it's not fully pitched, it's just at a 10-degree. How wide are the panels, Mark?
The panel, so they're going to be sitting in that type of configuration right there in landscape. So they are 66.9 inches long with 40 inches. So we're roughly going to be about 10 inches off of the deck, 10 to 12 inches.
Oh, sorry.
That is definitely something that I can get an exact dimension on.
Yeah, we're looking at having it be fairly unnoticeable, but it will be visible but not obtrusive is kind of the goal.
Be probably the most obvious from the houses up above on.
Yeah,
High
up on that street. Yep.
There's a picture from it's the detail in one of the files there. There's a picture of a house that, it does look like something, but it's organized. And if you look, there's not a lot of breakup in the array on the roof that we have. It's not like there's vent stacks and things going on there. There's a little bit of a jagged edge over there, but it's pretty clean. There's nothing in the direct center that's gonna bother me. So yes, there's going to be a visual impact.
How
Yeah,
old's
from,
that
not from the street,
membrane?
but from, sorry, go ahead.
How old's that membrane roof?
About
It,
4 or 5 years.
it's in
We put
good.
it on in, I think,
Never seen
2016.
solar panels placed on a membrane roof like that. I mean, that's out of our purview, but
Yeah, no, the ballasted system is so non-penetrating. It's a weighted system. So
oh, it doesn't go.
no, yeah, we don't penetrate the membrane.
Got it.
That's why we're going with this system.
Okay. That would make sense.
Yeah, it's really not worthy of jeopardizing the warranty and getting into that with the membrane.
I just suggest that you take some pictures because you probably can't really see too much of it from Pearl Street, but we'd ask for that normally, but maybe from up above.
Like go up on the street and ask to go in one of the yards and.
From the public spaces up there.
Yep.
You
So the
know,
other shot that I showed you, this is from my house, which is next door. So that's obviously right on the ground, but that's again, that's the roof. But yeah, we can get some pictures from above, and I can Photoshop the panels onto the roof. So that's kind of the basic what we're talking about here. So when we do come for the official meeting, specifically, what are you going to be looking for from us beyond what you just mentioned?
Well, I think because this question was asked before, if you speak to Linda at the Planning and Zoning Department, who's on this call, she has a list. She has a document which basically tells you everything that you've got to bring. And
Okay.
so we could sort of go over it now, but it's pretty self-explanatory. If you go through that list and you bring that stuff with you, you should be good. Well, you'll have to submit it, but then that should answer your question.
Great. Are there any, based on what we've shared here, are there any red flags that you can think of that we need to be worried about and to address in the meantime?
Well, I mean, is it state law, isn't it, Sarah, that basically encourages?
In the statute, it's suggested that we basically have to go out of our way to not approve solar. We have to
Well,
find a reason.
I think it says that you have to find that it would basically disrupt the entire character of the entire historic district.
Yeah, which is why we're not suggesting putting the solar panels on the south-facing roof of the church, which unfortunately is like the best sun you could possibly get. But we concluded in our own meetings that was going to be a bridge too far, both for the church and also for the historic district. Whereas the 1959 flat roof wouldn't, and is a pretty large area for a solar plant. So that's kind of where we're coming from.
So for the solar as a whole, I think you're fine. It's just a matter of making sure that your application's buttoned up with the GIS map, the photos, the specs, all of those things.
Okay, that's great. Okay, we appreciate that. And like I said, you're going to see us a couple more times for a few other projects, but this is the big kind of the headliner project for us.
As long as you bring Baby Yoda with you.
You see Star Wars Day?
And completely not in the purview of the historic district, but I'm a realtor and Sarah could probably tell you the same thing too, because she sells real estate attorney. Just make sure your contract with your solar thing, you're not going to be selling the church, so that won't matter, but it really does impact purchases of homes if the
Right. We are actually going to be purchasing the solar panel. I mean, we're not leasing. We're not leasing from a company. We're going to be the owner of the plant, and then we're working on a contract with Eversource. I'm not part of that group, so I'm not exactly sure what that looks like, but that's the plan right now. And yeah, hopefully we're never going to have to sell the church.
But I just suggest have an attorney that works at your church or goes to your church, look at the contract.
We will definitely do that. Thank you very much for that. Yep. All right.
Smart move, Father Adam. This is Max Leonard. You married my brother.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, I married Alyssa to your brother. Yes.
Yeah. And actually, I was an acolyte there when I was maybe, I don't know, 6 years old before you were there.
Before my time. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Anything else from us, or can I go to bed?
I think you can go to bed.
All
Well,
right.
you got
thanks so
another
much.
Zoom meeting, probably.
Yeah, right.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
Mark.
much.
Take care.
Thank you.
I wish we could.
Blessings.
Good enough.
Same to you.
Thank you.
All right. I think there are no more pre-application hearings. I believe Diana was from previous, and Ted has joined us a couple times. Unless
Yeah.
I'm mistaken, we are good with pre-application hearings this evening.
Kind of fits under this, but just, I don't know, whatever. I just want to let you know that the signs for 3 Water Street, they'll start applying for those, I think, part into the next hearing, maybe the one after, just as an FYI, but they're all hand painted on wood.
Thank you. All right, public communications. None. Approval of the minutes from 2021.
Was that email from Tom public communication, or does that part of the?
No, that was part of his
Okay.
public hearing,
Okay,
which is why I read it into the
correct. Okay.
hearing.
I move approval of the minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor, Brady,
Aye.
Moriarty, aye, Levinson,
Aye.
Nault,
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. Old business. I think our old business, well, I should ask Peter. Peter, do we have any old business?
No.
Okay. So the only old business that I guess we could possibly have is that we've been having these disconnects with hearings and information and trying to get a good process going. And I know it's late and I don't even know if anyone wants to discuss it, but I'll just briefly say, I reached out to Tom. I haven't had a conversation with Tom yet. I did have a lengthy conversation with Peter this morning in trying to figure out how we can make the process better. Obviously, there's some disconnect between what the applicants believe that they're submitting and what we're actually receiving. Wayne's holding an application that he says he submitted, but we don't have the application. I don't know how we can solve necessarily those problems other than, making it clear that the applicant needs to check their application to make sure that all of the information is there, but we're going down this rabbit hole of if they don't receive the notice to check their application. It was certainly a frustrating meeting, I'm sure, from everybody's perspective this evening. The 2 or 3 things that I came out of the conversation with Peter was, I don't know if you noticed, but when we ran through some of the applications, there was a checklist in them. I think there were in 2 or 3. I think that if the applicants are required to submit that checklist and that we modify the checklist to make it include all of the things that we're looking for, and then on the checklist, we include that the applicant must check the website on the Friday before the hearing to make sure their stuff's there, that might solve a lot of these problems. And then there was another issue, I think Todd had raised it to me at one point, of these applications are being submitted, but they're in an order that is not clear to the presenter. Like they're getting uploaded, but it's not necessarily getting uploaded in the order that they want to get uploaded. So maybe the other facet of this, which is very minor, is just making sure that the applicants number their pages so that they can present them in the order that they want them to. And beyond that, I don't have anything else to add.
I have one suggestion. In that application where it says, who we should have emails of anybody involved with this application that's going to be need to be reviewed, or so Linda could have sent it to Wayne, the owner, whoever, like if you're the solar guy, like this, they could have had those 2, anybody who was pertinent to the application.
You're 100% right. And HDC's switched over their applications. And I don't know if you went and looked, but there's that opportunity to put all of those emails in there. And I think what Linda's point was the only application she had only had Steve Costella's application on it. But now we have Wayne saying, no, I revised it and I submitted it, but you don't have this one.
Right.
I mean, those have to be the one-offs. Like, that's not going to happen normally. And it's unfortunate that it happened this evening. But, you know,
Kind of happened to that poor guy twice.
right. And I have to appreciate he was quite gracious. Like, not many people would have been as gracious as he was throughout it. And maybe it was his fault, maybe it wasn't, I don't know, but I have to appreciate the fact that he was kind and polite, because that doesn't certainly always happen. But those were the things that, you know, Peter and I had talked about and trying to make the process a little bit more smoothly. I don't know if anybody has any suggestions. I don't know if you even want to talk about them tonight, because this meeting.
Well, just a quick question. If somebody looks at their application the Friday before the hearing and they see that something that they think they sent isn't in there, what's the remedy? I mean, if they submit it that day or they submit it Monday, does that meet all of this requirements?
I'll tell you from my own firsthand perspective. I assisted Leo Roche in his application. I did not think that it was appropriate for the chairman to present an application, so I recused myself from it entirely and did not present it for him. But I did help him in preparing for it. So I submitted it to Tom and I dropped off the hard copy to Linda. And then on the Friday before, I looked at the application and I noticed that there were some things that either I didn't give to Linda or something happened. They weren't there. So I told Linda and I told Tom that these things weren't there and they were uploaded and there on Monday afternoon in time. So I think that if you review your application and see that things are missing and then reach out to staff, that they will upload them in time for the 24-hour notice prior to the meeting, or at least that's the way it's supposed to work.
Right.
That's the email that goes out on the Friday. The Friday email goes out. It says all information and exhibits that you plan to present must be posted on the Town of Groton website at least 24 hours prior to the meetings. And that's why they have to get it in by Monday. That's why yeah.
I have a technical suggestion. This is Max Leonard. You could set up an account with Box or Dropbox, and then you could set up folders for each meeting, and each person could have their own folder, and then you'd have a digital record of everything that they've submitted with a timestamp on it, and they could submit it up to 24 hours beforehand. And you know, if it's warranted, if it's not one of the ones that has to be in your public record by a certain amount of time, they could do it live, and whoever's presenting could pull it at that time live. So that might be a good approach.
That sounds like a great idea. But the other thing you could do is number the documents so that if they submitted 24 documents, and it just say on the page of the application page, I mean, just go stupid old school, 1 through 24. And if there weren't 24 pages, they'd know there was something missing.
I don't disagree with you. Like, I like Max's suggestion, definitely,
Yeah,
but I also don't disagree with you because it helps with missing documents and it helps with the order of the documents.
Right, but that was the reason why I suggested it. What you might want to suggest, even if a lot of people can't do it, is, I mean, the last one I did, it was just one file, and everything was in order because it was one complete scanned in file. I mean, you couldn't screw it up.
Yeah,
so that anyone who does that will be better set. And as I said, for Linda or Tom or whatever, you know, to upload 25 or 28 individual documents, you're gonna get things messed up.
I guess.
So I just want to, I'm trying to muzzle myself because I don't feel it's my place. I'm just here from a technical perspective. But a couple of things that we always have to keep in mind is manpower in the office. I'm not dedicated only to HGC as much as I love you folks. And the other thing is the software. So we have some issues with the software in that if you give me one continuous file, if it's too large, it's not going to upload into the agenda.net program that we're using. So sometimes sometimes I just have to do them individually, and that can be cumbersome. I think it's really an individual thing. It depends on whether it's all pictures. It depends on whether it's a combination. I really almost have to reach out individually to the folks. So, you know, I wish it were, you can just throw it in a Dropbox, for lack of a better word, and I could just click and upload, and it's just not that easy, unfortunately. So we still have to handhold folks between Tom and myself, and it's just very hard to let them know what we need, and also to speak the language that they need to hear, because I'm not so technically, like, I don't know all the words. I know what I need. And so the folks I'm talking to, they might have technical expertise beyond me. It's just really, we struggle with this every single time.
So Dropbox is actually, I'm not using that just as like
No,
turn of phrase. It's
I've heard of Dropbox. I know what you're talking about. I just don't know if it's going to talk to my software that I have to upload into.
Let me just jump in for a second. I think for the sake of time,
Yeah.
there's a couple things to consider. We've been doing these Zoom meetings for a year. They're probably going to end sooner than later. Or at some point. Out of the last year, the amount of times that we've had missing documents is probably less than 1%. So as much as it would be great to have everything be perfect and everyone be able to submit everything and there never be any lost document, while it's occurred, it's not occurring every single meeting. My suggestion is we just do nothing. We continue with the plan we have because it's working for the majority of the projects. And if there is an issue, we try to work with them like we did with the fence thing tonight. If they're missing tons of stuff, I think that's a different story. But I mean, I'm gonna assume that we're going back to in-person meetings at some point sooner than later. So instead of trying to set up new systems and everything.
The only problem with that is that as I've learned over the last couple months, what we were doing before wasn't what we were supposed to be doing. We were supposed to be collecting all of the materials beforehand and putting them out publicly in advance so that the public could see them. So we're even when I can't wait to go back to in-person meetings, but we're still stuck with you're supposed to give us all your materials in advance of the meetings.
Correct. Because we used to take stuff at the meeting and we weren't really supposed to do that.
We're not supposed, right?
You didn't even have the online system before, though. I mean,
no, we had nothing, and I don't know how we were supposed to do it. Like planning and zoning, you're supposed to submit all your materials in advance, 9 copies, etc. And we were always kind of considered, I don't know what Linda called us, but the loosey-goosey commission, where we would just take it, you know.
Loosey-goosey, I'm so sorry. That sounds awful, but.
Thanks, Linda.
I don't think she actually called us that, but, you know, but in my conversations that I've learned trying to work through these issues, we're supposed to collect all of the material in advance so that the neighboring property owners or whoever else in the commission can have the opportunity to examine them and comment. So we're still stuck with this.
I mean, I'm not
information issue
debate on this, but if the HTC was formed when it was, I mean, the reality is the technology that's available today wasn't available then. So the ability to publish all supporting documents when this was enacted wasn't even a thought, I'm sure, in their mind. I thought it was just a published notice, which is what it's been for so many years. So to now have to collect everything, submit it, overly paper it, I mean, it's almost like going back to when Don was talking about sending out letters to all the neighbors. You know, I mean, like, how far do we want to go?
I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not quite sure if that argument applies. Like, planning and zoning was formed in the 70s, and they have entirely different
because they
requirements for just like we were formed in the 90s. I mean, It's more a matter of making sure that the public has notice and has the opportunity to review the information prior. I think that what we did with the fence, I'm fine with, you know, like we were close enough. But having it go back to bring us all your stuff the night of the meeting and we'll have Peter run out and get you a GIS map because you forgot. We can't do that. We weren't supposed to be doing it then, and we shouldn't revert to those practices going forward.
All right, well, the next thing you should think about if we go back to actual public meetings, because we did some work down in Charleston, South Carolina, and I attended a number of historic district commission meetings down there. And in those meetings, which were attended by the general public, the entire digitized presentation was then up on a screen. Because one thing that has always sort of frustrated me a little bit, this is a slightly different subject, but it's related, is that at the actual meetings, the only people who can really see what's going on for the most part are the commission members. And
Yeah,
so to the extent we had an audience, the audience couldn't see anything.
So the Zoom, they actually see more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
Eric,
what I'm saying,
I would disagree that it's 1%. I think it's almost like 10% of the time things are missing, or they said they submitted something and it wasn't there. Or it's, I go just on this Bonnie's thing. I mean, asking people to number their pages, I don't think is particularly burdensome. So at least, you know, they could see that there's a page missing, and, you know, we could follow them.
That's a great idea. I think that's something they should do.
It's just something simple, but
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
So maybe short term, what
it
you
would
want to do is.
also be easier if we're trying to have Peter find something, say it's page 3.
Right.
Maybe short term, if everyone wants to take a look at the checklist and think of anything else they wanted to incorporate into the checklist.
I would appreciate that, what Peter just said. So when he and I were talking, I was looking at the checklist that has been incorporated into some of these applications, and I think that it needs to be revised. And I was going to send a draft, but it would be great if any of you could take a look at it and tell me what you want added to it so that I can float it back by you before we change it.
Where do we find it? Are you going to send it to us?
No, go back through the applications and you'll see it submitted with a couple of the applications tonight.
Okay, all right.
I think it's on the website too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, here's something for thought down the road is we are in the final stages of getting the approvals for our new online software for permitting. This is going to be coming up after the July voting for the budget. If it's looking good, it's looking optimistic that the final approvals are going to go through. The EnerGov system might have some options on how to move forward with the online permitting for HTC also. So that's something if Sarah wants to stay in touch with me on, and we can kind of talk about it further, on a sidebar note, about possibly going in on some of the meetings when we're looking at setting up with the tax assessor and different. What's that? Hello?
I'm not sure who that was.
Sounded like Sarah. Are you still there, Sarah? Or are you getting muted?
She was saying.
Went in and out a little bit
here. Peter,
Oh.
I was having a little trouble to hear him too.
Yeah, I got bad internet tonight for some reason. I got a bad internet connection. But the online permitting software system, we're going to be changing in the town hall. So that's coming up next year. So we're trying to be proactive and set up meetings with the different groups to kind of formalize ways to get it set up with the IT department.
Okay.
So that might be something we want to look at now also, for down the road, short-term work on that with the checklist, but maybe for long-term, we can work on that.
Well, I do think we should look at, especially that Wayne's emails and see, if there was a problem that we're not aware of now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And I know that Peter and Linda and Tom meet on Thursdays for the HDC, so that, hopefully they can explore that on Thursday and let us know, how we can fix that. So.
And not to bring up another whole can of worms, Peter, but that last couple there that said that they were told by staff that everything looked good, hope
Yeah,
to
I don't know where
discuss
that came
where we-
from.
Yeah, people shouldn't be obviously be telling them because it's not up to staff.
They
to
might
decide.
have said that everything was in place to be
Yeah,
submitted.
right, exactly.
Yeah, I would
Right.
think that the speaker, you know, how he interpreted what he heard as to how he wanted to hear it on that one, probably.
Tell you from experience, before I was even on this thing and knew any of you, I had to go do this stuff. And I remember going to Linda and trying to get advice and she wouldn't give it to me. So if she didn't give it to me, she's not giving it to him.
No, they were probably told to go to a pre-app and then they didn't. So,
Right.
all right. Anything else on this that anyone wants to talk about tonight? No. Okay. New business, election of officers. Would we like to elect officers?
Can we do it next meeting?
You mean no one else wants to be chairman?
No, we have a chairman.
I don't care.
Does anybody want to be vice chairman?
You do need a vice chair.
Yeah, we don't have a vice chairman.
We don't.
We don't?
We don't. So Heather Giannakopoulos was the previous vice chair and she resigned, which we learned last meeting when I was late and we were scrambling.
When I was on before, who was the vice chair? Oh,
Dr. Summers.
But so the vice chair doesn't really do anything.
Well, you stand in for the chair. if
Yeah.
the chair
I'll
isn't
do
there.
that if nobody else wants to.
So do we want to elect officers tonight? Or do we want to wait?
But if somebody else wants it, they are more than welcome to it.
Let's do it next week.
Okay. Sorry, Linda. All right, any new business? No. All right, well, thank you, everyone. Sorry.
Thank you. Sarah, it was a tough night for you, I think.
You were very,
I
you were
just
very
wanna
patient with that one couple, Sarah. and
I
you-
thought you did amazing.
Yeah, you were, you were like, do you want to continue? And that what you did it, you did your job perfectly. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Even I was losing patience with that.
Was I scratching my neck? All right, thank you all. Have a great night. Sorry it was so long this evening.
and Eric, I got your voicemail and I'll get back to you.
Thanks.
All right.
Good evening.
Good night.
Thank you.